Well, good evening, folks. Welcome along to your reaction to Europa League match day 2. Rangers away from home in Austria against Sturm Graz. I will point out that Martin has misspelt that in the description. It's not Sturm, it's Sturm. But nonetheless, that's the least of our problems tonight, folks. Another absolutely shocking Rangers performance tonight, particularly that first half. That first half was an utter disgrace, quite frankly. Coming off the back of that last minute win against Livingston, you were kind of hoping coming into this it might give us a bit of wind in our sails, might pick us up a bit, especially against, let's be honest, what is an absolutely bang average side. Just as Genk were in the last game, Graz the same. These are teams that we were beating for fun, that we were having as our bread and butter 3 points up until this season in Europe. And it's not, I'm not even being hyperbolic to say it, it's an absolute fact. Russell Martin has not only destroyed us domestically, but he's absolutely killing any credibility this club has got left in the European level anymore. As far as I'm concerned, and we'll get into it with the guys right now, I think we're done in Europe. I think we're out because I don't see us beating Roma. I don't see us going away to Porto and winning there. I think those games are all but done. Ferencváros, if that's what our away performances are going to be, forget it. And then you're looking at Brann. And quite frankly, the only Brann that Russell Martin should be anywhere near after tonight is Brann Flakes. Joining me to go over all of that this evening, and unfortunately at some point hear from Russell Martin, I have Ian. Ian, how are we?
I want to come on it. I honestly want to come in and say, yeah, I'm really good and I'm really, really happy to be here. But I am just worn out. I've just watched another 90 minutes all. Granted, we were better second half, and we won the second half trophy in this game. But I can't keep doing this. I am done. I don't know what to do. I mean, the only reason I carried on watching it is because I was doing this tonight. Otherwise, I'd have just turned it off and gone to bed. Other than that, I'm all right.
Kenny, how are we?
I'm a bit like Ian. Second half, I thought we were great. A lot better at the last 15, 20 minutes. It was something that you were actually liking to watch. But if we're going to be as easy as that to get the ball through from one end of the park to the other, I'm fed up watching it. That's how I'm fed up watching it. It's all very well learning how to get close to somebody's goal, but if you're going to let that mess happen through your wings and your midfield, I'm fed up watching tactical unawareness, let's say.
But let's call it for what it is. It's tactical ineptitude entirely. The fact is, let's just first of all let's start with the starting lineup tonight. To begin with, and your thoughts on that, because I think in general, I don't think it's far-fetched to suggest that most people seen that starting lineup tonight and went, yeah, about right. Probably roughly the strongest 11. Chermiti, obviously the exception to the rule, because thus far I'm not seeing an £8 million player for Yusuf Chermiti. I'm just not. For me, he's offered nothing. He did have a couple of wee good moments in the ball. I'll grant him he created space to get a shot away, but his shot was tame. But, I mean, right from the off, and Stuart Allison makes the point there as well, Ian, shouldn't Miovski have been starting instead of Chermiti?
Well, I think the reason that Chermiti's starting ahead of Miovski is the fact that we go to Falkirk at the weekend on yet another plastic pitch. And the rumour has it Chermiti's another one who can't play on a plastic pitch for a full 90. So he gets the start same way as he did against Genk because he couldn't play at Livingston. I wasn't surprised by the team. The only fact that Barron's been playing well, so I'm surprised he carried on playing him because he's like when players start to play well, he takes back the team. But you could have, if you'd given everybody on the Rabble a chance to write down what team do you think starts, that's the team they put down. So it wasn't a massive surprise. Yeah, Miovski may well have started ahead of Chimay, but he went with Chimay. I don't think Chimay did too badly. Yeah, he a tame shot. He had gone off the bar. Another one where I know people were saying, why is he doing the flick when he should be just putting his foot through it? The ball was behind him. He was dangerous in that first half. He just couldn't get that ball in. And it was a story of our first half. It was just nearly. Oh no, it's all over again. And oh look at that. We've let another one in. That was our first half.
Yeah, well, agreed. Kenny, we sort of spoke briefly off here about this, and I will just say to folks, right, as you can appreciate in a night like this, it's mayhem in the comments right now. It is incredibly busy. I will do my best to keep up and bring up any relevant comments that I see that I think are worth bringing up. I'm sure I can trust Hamish to look over and make sure if I miss anything that's a good point that he gets it as well. And obviously any super chats will not be missed. But just in case you're putting comments in and think, he's never brought up my comment, it's just, it could cut diamonds, the speed it's gone at right now, quite frankly. But Kenny, as I say, we kind of spoke just before we came on air. You obviously manage a team of young kids in your sort of life, your daily life. The goals we conceded tonight, I know sometimes the term schoolboy defending can be flung about maybe unfairly, right? But I don't think I've seen a more nailed on example of schoolboy defending than what I've seen tonight. Firstly, the first goal for Horvat. But I mean, we've thrown it away in every literal sense of the word. Comes from our throwing, Kenny. There's no pressure on us. There's no pressure in the ball. There's no need for any panic whatsoever. And so what do? We shit ourselves and we just throw the ball straight to them. And Horvat's, thank you very much. It's have that for Horvat. I mean, it's ridiculous, Kenny.
You're itching for a wee job with the sun or something, aren't you? That was a wee nice wee analogy there. Listen, see, at the end of the day, you can see it was obviously training ground nonsense, because he went and moved him out to right back, big soapy to get the ball. He never got it, and then he couldn't recover, and he was scared to get a penalty, so he jumps over the back of the guy instead of ushering him out the way. There's no run into the centre, into the striker for Cornelius. He decides that he's just going to jog back, which means there's now 2-on-1. And Butland obviously couldn't do nothing about it because he was unsighted with the shot. So that's for our throwing. That false sentence is for our throwing. And it's a bit disrespectful to all the Wades out there watching this, because there's no way half these schoolboys would even have done what they done in the second one as well. So I don't understand how we keep giving teams a hand. That we seem to, as you say, shit the bed when it comes to a defensive, anything to do with defensive movement, whether it's attacking towards them or whether it's getting closed down from the opposition. They seem to just freak. And it seems to be like catchy. It's as if one person starts then, the other one starts then. And all the way through that, there was wee mistakes happening and stuff like that, where players were kind of moving out of their positions and then getting caught. And Cornelius had done it quite a few times. And I can't believe I'm talking about a new player that's making mistakes again. You know what I mean? It's just annoying me. So yeah, it was farcical, boys. It was farcical to watch. You've watched it. That throw-in went down. You're thinking, there's nothing happening here. That's just getting thrown back. Within one bounce of that football, every Rangers fan started panicking, because you could see there was a lot of questioning what was happening. Now, that should have been dealt with so easy. One knockdown, bang, boot it, just take it away. No, he decides to come right further over the right-hand side, big soapy, and the next minute the ball's through the middle, and that guy's got so much room. But it's the reaction for the Sturm Graz's other attackers and the midfielders. It's their overload that's a lot quicker than the reaction to your defence. And that seems to be a recurrent problem, boys, with every single attack on our defence. We could have as much possession, and we do, that we can have. But see if you're getting opened up with 2 and 3 different passes, sometimes over a full pitch and sometimes over a kind of congested area, like that throw-in showing you and the second goal showed you. is there a point in trying to teach us how we can get the ball in the net at the other end when you can't even keep it out at the back? Because it's going to start breeding disharmony into players who are thinking, well, we're busting our back up the top end, which Gassama did, but you're allowing this type of farcical movement at the back. So yeah, mate, I was as stunned as you, Connor. See that way the goal went in, and you're going, what just happened there?
Right? Yeah, 100%. You cannot believe what you're seeing with your own eyes because we had the ball. How because they always say, don't you? You can't concede a goal as long as you've got possession of the ball. Well, Rangers proving that not to be true. But as Jacob in the Starry-Eyed Shadows points out, Ian, that was far from the worst of it tonight. Because if we thought that was bad enough, Rangers defence said, hold my beer on the 35th minute. When Kitishvili, I think that's how you pronounce it, I might have butchered that, but we'll go with Kitishvili for the purposes of this. Ian, what I mean, Jacob says it here. One pass in behind for a set piece, totally catching everybody sleeping. That line is ridiculously high. If you're going to play a line that high, then you've got to make sure, A, that you're playing those attackers offside so that they can't do that, and B, that you're keeping an eye. That is the basic short pass. That is not something you get caught out with. See if they ping a great ball over the top and it ends up being a wonder goal. You hold your hands up and you go, do you know what, maybe there are things we could have done better, but fair enough. But that was not that. Kitishvili, by the way, because when I seen it back, I thought maybe he's offside, and even Ali McCoist was sort of, he comes from behind where the line is. He actually runs just right through them. Not one person follows him.
Yep.
It's an absolutely diabolical goal to concede. And quite rightly, Jack Butland turned around and immediately booted his post in frustration. Because if I was Jack Butland, Ian, I'd have walked off the pitch at that point. I'd have went, you know what, see yous, golf. No having that. That's absolutely, 2 goals handed away, and all of a sudden, 2-0 down, and we're climbing mountains again, Ian.
I can't repeat what I said when we scored. They scored that second goal in my living room watching that. I can't repeat the words that came out of my mouth, because otherwise I would have this pod taken down, gone forever. We'd never see us again. The one thing from it is, why in the hell are we defending so high on that free kick? We haven't got the players to defend that high in any game, let alone one in Europe against a team that, for the first half of that game at least, were battering us. And like you say, he just walked through. And every time they went upfield, they walked through our defence. They didn't have to do anything too difficult. They walked through. That's exactly what they did this time, and he slots it away lovely. And like you say, if I'm Butland, I'm getting up. I'm not kicking the post. I'm kicking every single white shirt I can see in front of me. And then I'm walking over, and I'm just going to go, do you know what, Liam? You can play. I'm not doing this anymore. Week after week after week, I'm keeping these in a game. I'm just not doing it. Again, I mean, I coach kiddies football as well, and I'd be raging at my lot if they did that. Thankfully, I've got better defenders than we've got. Goki was on par most of the time, but I've definitely got better defenders than what we've got at the moment. And I just, it was awful. It's like they challenge themselves when they go out on the pitch. It's like, right, how can we really annoy them this time? We'll do this. And so how can we make it worse? Well, let's try this. I just don't know what they're thinking. I mean, it's such a high line for a free kick. And it didn't even have to do much. It wasn't even a hard pass. It was just literally, there you go. I don't think you can explain what's going on. The only person who will try to explain and justify it is a grown man with a pair of curtains for a haircut, which I've not seen since the 90s. And so it was awful. At that point, I feared the worst. As soon as we went 2-0 down, I'm thinking this could be 3 and 4 if they want it to be. We need to get to half-time now. How long have we got? Oh, that long. Yeah, we're done. And I genuinely feared that we were going to get an absolute doing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, SHLC mentality is excuse tonight. I have not, as of yet, heard Russell Martin's post-match comments. We will bring them to you as and when Rangers get the finger out and post them on Twitter. Quite frankly, not much else I can do there. Not that we're really waiting with bated breath, because we know the excuse that he's going to throw at it. It's just the same all the time. But where was it? There was a comment I seen. Jacob again there. Whole team started half asleep, Kenny. Well, Nico, but even he was just standing waiting for someone to pick up a loose ball in the first half. No intensity, no hope. And I have to say, I agree with that. You know, one thing that I think can safely say, Kenny, is regardless of how things have been going in the domestic front, we've always had a certain level of intensity about us in European games, right for the off. You know, we tend to start the games up for it and at it and really having a go at teams and getting in their faces. I didn't see any of that tonight, just as I didn't see it against Genk. And what worries me more than anything, Kenny, is that there should have been a reaction tonight to losing to Genk. You lose your first game in the Europa League, you're already behind the 8 ball. You want to go and win that game again. You know, the second game when you get the chance. And there wasn't that reaction. We came out, as Jacob said, absolutely sleeping.
Yeah, I knew we weren't going to come out and do anything spectacular, because if it was a very successful run in the league so far, and then you come out against Livingston and then you do 1-2-1 and you think to yourself, this is a title winning team who's ground the result out, but it wasn't like that. It was a complete slapdash. Oh my God, thank God we won. So I was thinking, right, okay, how do we recover for that? Are they going to come out here and it's an away game and all the rest of it? If they score first, how do we handle it? I think there's a lot of instruction getting put in the pitch where the players that we have not got the capabilities to do what he thinks he wants to do. He's got all these kind of ideas of grandeur. He wants to play a certain way, right? Let's say what he said, Manchester City way. But you can't, and you've got to have a plan B in how you start playing to the players, setting a team up to the players' strengths, which is what I stole for Alan McCoy, which I couldn't believe. I totally agree. I'm like, listen, get this nonsense away. Start changing the formation. See if you can just cause an upset. Tell your right winger to stop coming inside. It's blatantly obvious you're telling him to scarper into the middle of the park when he's one of the fastest players in probably our league. And you're allowing him to grab the ball and get across the middle of the park. If you had Ant-Man going up the right the way you did Gassama was attacking, you would have a lot more problems in that box. And by the way, the second half showed you that team are not great. All right? I don't care what anybody says. Sturm Graz weren't great. We were again causing our own problems. But I knew we were going to start that way. I just felt it in my blood. I was quite surprised that Raskin starting slow, but don't get me wrong. You know, he sorted it at half time. I don't know whether he needed a rocket himself or he done it himself and he started talking to the players. I don't know. But what I will say is we had more shots than them, we had more possession than them, we had more shots on target than them, we had more corners than we've ever had. So that must all came for the second half, boys, because it never came for the first. So the stats that we had more than everything they had, including shots on target, including completed pass possession, right? That's a huge one, because that means that you're getting to where it should be. Then that must have been the second half. But you've already let yourself down with how easy you opened up. And by the way, there was a couple of times they broke us again in the second half. So I did think it was going to start slow, but I was fearing a 4-0. I've just been honest. I was fearing that if they split us a few times, and Jack Butland did keep us in it a little bit. I'm just simply finished with this pantomime now, guys. I'm finished. It's not even humorous. It's no trying to find where we go for here. I'm not asking any more questions, and I'm not stopping at the team, and I'm not stopping at Russell. I'm not stopping anywhere else but Thorwell, Purdy, hiring his boy, buying Chermiti. It's a SHITE show, right? And there's something that we're missing. There's a jigsaw piece missing, guys. And I'm fed up watching it now. I've just had enough. And if we don't, I mean, there's always these rumours, isn't there, about a contract, right? Now, it would be well within his right to put a clause in his contract that if he get paid off in 6 months, we've all heard the rumours, right? And he gets whatever he gets because of the amount of managers we've went through. So technically, any manager would try that. But if that's true, how far as an owner do you give this? You know, what are we going to be sitting 10th, 8th in the league? Out the title race, right? You're going to give him another good few months. We're well out the title race. We could be out of cups. We're out of Europe. And you think as an owner that's acceptable to fans like us who pay a fortune for everything that we obtain at that club and the amount of times that we take off our own time to come and watch it? All right. Now, I know what you said, your point, Connor, but it's important this gets said because we can't wait months for this to subside. All right. His name should never have been given for the Rangers job anyway. It's a far too big. I think Ali said it correctly that he was very surprised that somebody with a little bit at least of European experience didn't even get a name in for the job, because we would be getting into Europe, whether it was Europa League, Europa Conference, whatever the hell it was, or Champions League qualification. So now is where I'm now get that threshold where I'm watching players trying to play things that is wrong. Ant-Man for one. Ant-Man at his previous club was phenomenal. He was the same as Gassama. But why the hell is he telling me to do that? Same with Soapy coming to right back for the throw-in and Cornelius not coming across, and you know, Agard is me and Ian were talking about this just before. I mean, he's an empty jersey, man. You know, when I watched the synopsis about him when he was coming to our club, he was taking 2 and 3 players on and taking free kicks away like Grealish did. That's what I watched some of the videos on him, and I feel as if I'm looking at a different player. I don't think that's all the players. There is a percentage, but I think the bigger percentage is they're getting coached the wrong way. They're getting asked to do a system that their capabilities are stronger in a different formation. And if we don't do something quickly, boys, you know, this is going to end up with us simply out of a lot of competitions. And I don't know about you, but as soon as we hit 11th in that league, it was bye for me then. But we're not going to climb crazy higher than that, I don't think, in the next wee while. So for me, it needs to be something drastic, and the board need to start acting pretty quickly, or we're going to keep producing that. Now, we've got an opportunity when they come to Ibrox right now. You know, the three sitting here and everybody who watches and everybody goes to the football, they know that Ibrox should be going right. You should get 3 points on a Thursday night there. How many of us can say that now, to be fair?
Okay, he's on mute, look. He's on mute.
Apologies, I am just trying to find Russell Mark's comments. Ian is saying that they're on TNT, but I can't find them on TNT.
Just put in TNT on Football on TNT Sports on X and you'll find it.
Well, while I do that, Ian, let me just throw this at you. I don't want to, but sadly I have to because it's part of the deal. Do you know when the last time Rangers kept a clean sheet away from home it was, Ian, in a competitive game of football?
Sometime 2024.
Kenny, any guesses?
We're going to steal his answer, but I would go for that. 2024, early.
Let me tell you, it was Sunday, the 8th of December 2024 against Ross County, where Rangers won 3-0. Since then, Rangers have played, from my counting, 26 times away from home. 26. And they've conceded in every single one of those games.
Wow.
That's a fucking shambles. Excuse the French, folks. But, Ian, what is that all about? We're well aware of the problems we've got under Russell Martin. But that's a record of conceding goals away from home in all competitions. Obviously, we're talking all competitions here. That stretches back before Russell Martin's tenure as well, with a different defence. Why is this side seemingly incapable of keeping clean sheets away from home?
So that's post Clement. By that time, Clement's gone. Fergie's in. Most of the time that we played in Fergie's team, we had to score 2 or more goals to get a point. You go back and watch Fergie's tenure. Every single away game, we conceded at least 2.
Yep.
It's not stopped under Russell Martin because we're leaky. Our defence is more like a colander than a sieve. The holes are just massive. We haven't. Barry had to work with what Barry had because he didn't really get the chance to do much in a transfer window. It's a difficult time to buy players anyway. I can't even remember if he was in at that point. But Russell Martin's had the chance and the money. Let's not forget this man has had the money to spend and has spent a buttload of it in making our defence even worse than it was last season. And that's saying something because that was the defence that had Robin Proper in it, and we all tore him apart. He's brought in a young lad from Peterborough, and yeah, we paid $3.5 million for him, but that is not Fernandez's fault. That's what we paid for him as a club. Same with Chimiti. It's not his fault that we spent £8 million on him. That's what we paid for him as a club. So I won't hold the price tag against these lads. Whether they're good enough or not, only time will tell. But we spent £3.5 million by all accounts on a defender who's not even getting on the bench at times. So I don't know what's happened to him. Then we've brought in another guy on loan who's apparently 10 million quid's worth of talent from Wolves, disappeared without a trace. For another loanee that's coming from Marseille, who does, to be fair, look like he's actually got something about him. And Suter just continually gets a game after game after game, no matter how poor he is. We've got a right back that plays at left back who can't play football by all accounts at the moment in Aarons. Scored a goal against Livingston. Thought he was. I mean, said that it's the things that he dreamt of doing, scoring in away grounds for Rangers. Did you really? Is that what you think we want to hear from you? Not really. And Tav, who has done his bit for this club over the years, but is now on the downward trend. So it's no wonder our defence is all over the bloody shop, because Russell Martin can't figure out who he wants to play there. He's plugging holes wherever he can, thinks he's got a settled defence, brings a young lad in on loan and then takes him off at every opportunity, because if things aren't going right, well, it must be his fault because he's only 19. The same way that he's treated Curtis, the same way that he's treated anybody who seems to have anything about them. I'm not going to play you. It must be your fault. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And the only way that it does get better is if Russell Martin is no longer here. I tend to agree with Martin on this. I don't think he's gone yet. I think if they're going to get rid of him, it'll be after Falkirk in the international break. I just don't think it'll be now. So you can guarantee you he will be there on the weekend to just, ruin our Sunday.
Well, absolutely. Right. I have managed to find Russell Martin on Rangers Twitter. For some reason, the TNT Sports Twitter I was getting was for 2021, apparently, so I don't know. And Ian, of course, could have brought it up and helped me out, Kenny, do you know what I mean? But decided
no. You saw the last time I tried to do that, mate, it all went horribly wrong. People left the reaction because of it. I'm not doing it.
Good.
Nonetheless, let's peel the scab off, and we'll full screen them and everything. That way you don't get to see their faces and the expletives that will be coming out of them. So yes, let's hear what Russell Martin had to say.
Russell, an improved second half, but not quite enough in the end. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, I'm frustrated. We also have a lot of chances in the first half. A lot. We should make way more of. We can't start the game like that again, and we give teams a head start. And it's not that's not a technical problem. The game is first 25 minutes, half an hour. You have to show so much. Fight, get back in position quickly. So we've been hurt by our own throwing because we don't do the right thing, and then a set play where we're not switched on, and we don't want to block runners. We don't want to compete, and that's really frustrating. So especially when we've done so much work in it and improved so much in that area recently, and then second half, we are so dominant. We have so many big chances. We come away from home in Europe and had so many big chances. We can't have one goal to show for it. And actually, you can't come away and have that many chances and lose the game. So they had 3 or 4 early on in the game that were all set plays or throw-ins. In open play, they didn't really cause us any problems at all. And we looked a threat, and I thought we'd score in the first half. We didn't. And in the second half, they had a couple of chances late on because we were throwing everything at it. And you have to expect we're going to be open at some point. But in the period between that, we're the best team by a mile, and we have to have more to show for it.
Yeah, is that frustrating? Obviously, you go in with a game plan and then sort of give yourselves that amount to climb with the goals lost and the manner of the goals.
The most frustrating is we're not set up in the way we should be and the way we work on. So I said to the players, it's the mentality in the first half an hour compared to the rest of the game is just too far apart. We change shape and all that stuff. It's not, the second half is not a technical or tactical thing, really. Yes, we change shape to try and help, but it's just aggression and mentality to actually run and fight and compete. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, what can you take from tonight moving forward now in this competition?
I can take how much we've created over the last couple of games and look such a threat going forward. We have to have more goals to show for it, but we're starting to look really threatening in attack. We concede from a second phase long throw on Sunday after doing so much work on it, and then again tonight from our, like I said, from a set play and our own throw in. So it's undoing all of that good work, and all of that stuff is making it pointless if you haven't got a real mentality to defend your own goal.
There we go. We're back. Don't know what happened there. I took Russell Martin away, but the screen didn't want to bring us back up for some reason. Firstly, Aldo, we are people. £2 super chat. How must Finlay Curtis feel? It's a very good question, Kenny. And before I throw it to you, I'm going to throw one to the comments, right? Because I've seen some people say, the in-house questions are just softball. I do also have the TNT Sports clip as well, which is about 2.5 minutes. So if you would like for me to play that clip as well momentarily, then put a thumbs up in the comments. If you would, however, not like me to play that, then just put a thumbs down. And we'll see where we're at by the time Kenny's finished answering Aldo's question. Kenny, before we do go into the manager's waffle, because let's be honest, it's nothing new. Aldo saying about wee Finlay Curtis, I have to agree with him. Scandalous, Kenny. Scandalous. How is Mikey Moore coming on ahead of Finlay Curtis? Explain that.
I know. He must feel quite upset in that. I know. Curtis plays on the left as well. You know what I mean. He can come on there as well. But you give the boy a chance, especially homegrown talent as good as he was. He scored a couple of goals. He's done pretty well. I don't understand what's happening actually with the wee young boy. It's the same with Nisiala though. I don't understand how he's not getting a game either. Is this my internet or is that yours that's froze?
My internet hasn't froze. Ian's on mute, so I don't know whether his is froze or not. Because
that's all right. Just make sure, because you frozen mine. I wasn't sure if it was me. So Nisiala, Curtis, and all that. I just don't understand how you don't go ahead and try these things. I mean, I don't know what he's seeing in training with Nisiala as well, because as far as I've seen it, he was absolutely fine. Curtis again scored a couple of goals. He started getting confidence. You can't put him on the left. To be fair, you can't, because Gassama's, he's a player. And I get that, but see if you're struggling on the right hand side and you're taking Ant-Man off, you're putting Aarons up as a right back to right wing. Why not throw the boy on and see what he could do? Because you've already played half your team out of positions at one time or the other, so you might as well, try something else. Frustrated, annoyed, and I don't understand it with the wee guy, because yes, in the left position that's a struggle to put Gassama out the team, because he's starting to click, I think. And listen, see, before we completely castrate and shave his hair off, some of the stuff he was saying there was true, right? You look by the hatred, he was basically saying that you can see signs up front are starting to create chances, right? And yeah, the second half, fair enough, Livingston at the end, mere possession, I get it. And he did highlight the fact that what is the point in us trying to train how we go forward if at the back you're not going to do what I'm telling you to do? So I'm hoping that's what he meant. I can't see it, because you're telling the right winger to cut inside. You're also training ground issues has been when you were trying to pull Suter into the right hand side there for that throw in, and then misjudged the throw in, and then your defender wasn't running 50. If you're not going to compete and run with your marker, this is going to fall apart. So I get some of the sentences he said. I tried to look at that and listen to that without anger, just to see. Try and see it, seeing it for the first time. And it's no easy, mate. It's no easy.
Both sides. Curtis again, I get that 100%. And the fact is that, I mean, there's Geordie saying that if he was Finlay Curtis after tonight, he'd be asking to go out on loan. And I can't say I wouldn't believe it. I mean, Robert, great point. Comes on the right the last time, he scores. This is what gets me. We needed clearly to score goals tonight. We need, especially when we're 2-0 down. Then more got back to 2-1 after Gassama. We needed a goal. And the one thing Finlay Curtis has proven in the early part of this season is when you bring him on off the bench, he is a goal threat because he has scored. So I just don't know why you wouldn't have done it. Right. I asked you all if you wanted to hear Russell Martin's TNT Sports comments. And despite the fact there was a few of you agreeing with Johnson and Loyal, begging me for no more, there was actually surprisingly quite a lot of thumbs up that came in. So in the words of Geordie, let's roll the clip. And and see what he had to say to TNT.
Paul Russell, clearly not the result you came for or wanted. It was a kind of nuts game to watch. What was it like to manage?
Well, you can't start that poorly. So we still had loads of chances in the first half, but they had too many, and all from set play or throw-in. But we just have to be brighter, organised, quicker, help each other more. So the mentality is the problem. It's not like we're not doing what we should do on the set play. We're not doing what we should do on our throw-in. So that's like a mentality issue in the first bit of the game. We still had loads of chances in the first half, caused them a lot of problems. So dominant in the second half. Of course, we give up a couple of chances late on because we're throwing everything at it. But we should score more goals. You come away from Europe and have that many chances at goal and big chances, you can't lose the game.
You give up chances as well, which I'm sure you'd acknowledge. And that mentality, concentration thing, why is that and how do you fix it?
We gave up chances from set players early on, not an open play.
No.
Open play late on in the game when we're trying to get an equaliser, and of course there's going to be space. So I just said it's a mentality thing.
Why and how do you fix it?
Well, we have to look at it. We need to be brighter. They need to help each other more. So we have a lot of young men, but they have to learn really quickly.
Yeah. Are you learning? I mean, I guess you are. About yourself, about your players, about this challenge?
Always.
Yeah. What did you take from tonight then? What how do you turn this into something worthwhile?
Yeah, we have to improve the mentality quickly because it's not a technical problem. The mentality in the second half was brilliant. To compete, to fight, to run. We don't do that in the first 20 minutes, and we pay the price for it.
Yeah, the changes at half-time and in the second half, I mean, are they all about chasing the game?
No, we've done it quite a bit. But we need to score. We need to try and get back in the game. So we were aggressive as we could be with the substitutions. We should score a couple of goals.
It's a difficult time to be a manager of this football club at the moment?
It's an interesting time. It's frustrating because we've shown signs of so much growth and improvement. And then even today in the game, there's some brilliant moments. We're really dominant, like I said, to come away from home and in Europe and have so many chances. But frustrating to lose the game.
Yeah, got a trip to Brand next time in this competition. A game, I think, at Falkirk at the weekend, and then maybe a bit of time for you and the club and the players to think about how to improve.
Yeah, it's all about Sunday now, though.
Improve.
Yeah, it's all about Sunday.
There we go. Sorry, I was just making sure we had the screen off. Mentality again, Ian, that's the buzzwords coming out. Everybody mentioning it in the comments as well. It's getting silly now, quite frankly. This nonsense about mentality. Why is the mentality not there yet? That's what I just genuinely I don't get. Before you answer that, Ian, I mean, I don't know. Are you? Is his fiver on its way across just now, Kenny? Is that
just because I'm free, sure, I can afford a tenner, thanks.
Well, strictly speaking, it would be 10 Aussie dollars, of course.
Euros.
My apologies, Stephen. I thought I had let Kenny speak. I only came in towards the end of these bit because, and backed me up, and I'm sure the comments will. There was a slight dip in his connection and you could hear him breaking up a bit. So in order to try and at least pretend like we're some sort of professionals at this gig, I thought I'd come in. But my humble apologies.
You sells double glazing. I thought it was me. A piss you've just raffled there, I'll tell you.
It was you were having connection problems. Anyway, because Kenny is now no longer saying anything else this evening. Mentality. What is this tripe? He's been here for he's been here for a better part of 4 or 5 months now, since the summer. We are in October. We've played plenty of games. These players have played plenty of games together as well. So what is this mentality bunkum that he keeps coming? Why is the mentality not there then? That's what I don't get. These new players come in and they play brilliantly. When we first see them, Gassama's first game, he's electric. Ant-Man's first game, he's electric. Then they start being coached by Russell Martin, and all of a sudden, they don't look like they've played football before in their life half the time. So is that mentality, or is that just really rubbish coaching?
If the players that he's got on the pitch, which have been the mainstay of his team, don't have the mentality to play, then why is he still playing them? Take them out. Let them get their mentality away from the pitch. There's other players you could play. It's not mentality of the play. It's not mentality of the players. The players are being coached in a way that they don't know what to do because they don't. I don't think the players actually have bought in to Russell Martin in the way he wants to play. But we haven't bought the players to play that. He says we've got a lot of young men. That's because you brought a lot of young players in and not brought any experience to play around them to help them out. Because you can have youngsters in your team, but you mix it with some experience that can help them through. But it's not a mentality. It's Russell Martin and the way he wants to play football. The players aren't getting it and they don't like the way they play. And we did say in the second half that, we changed the tactics up. No, Russell, you just flew through everything on that you could and hoped that something stuck. At one point, you ended up, for the first time, and I don't know how long, we had 3 strikers on a pitch. 20 million quid's worth of talent up front. And I'd say maybe 1 shot from those 3. I think the best chances in the second half came from Cornelius and Suter's efforts. So it's not mentality for me. Not mentality at all.
Well, I was just about to ask you a follow-up question to lead into your points, because you're right with 3 strikers in the park at one point, right? And yet we were so all over the place in terms of players not really understanding where they should be that at one stage you've got Chermiti in the dying embers of the game tracking all the way back to right back. Eventually winning the ball back and passing it to Cornelius, who's supposed to be a right back, but who's playing almost at right wing. Now, really funny, right? And I applaud Chermiti for tracking back and for showing a bit of determination. But if I've got 3 strikers in the parking and I need a goal with 4 or 5 minutes to go, I don't want one of my strikers playing right back. I really don't. I don't know how he ended up there.
Do you know what that reminded me of? You remember that game where we were playing and Pedro made like 4 substitutions and put Michael O'Halloran at fucking left back and Joe Garner at centre back and played Wes Fodringham up front or whatever it was he was doing. It just really right, just do this and see what happens. And that's what he did. That's when he panics, he tries to play football like the old ways. He had 4-4-2 we played at one point. When was the last time we played 4-4-2? It literally is right. What I want to do isn't working, so let's just do this. And I say it again, I said it in the watch along to Alex. I said, I don't know if this is him tactically changing things or the players have gone, do you know what? I ain't playing like this anymore. Let's do this, lads, and see what happens. Brian put a comment in earlier on. I didn't get a chance to get it before it disappeared off screen, saying he's not sure if it's a manager thing or a player issue or both. I think it's both, because the manager is the issue and the players don't know how to play his system because they just don't get it. And I think that's where it lies. And if Stephen Robertson actually watches the wrestling watch-alongs, he'll know that you don't get much of a chance to get a chat before Connor jumps in. So we're used to it, Stephen. We're used to it.
You're at it again,
I'm getting battered for doing my job, which is to host this show tonight. Quite frankly, folks, if Ian didn't like it, then Ian could have hosted it himself. But Ian didn't want
to. Supposed to be doing, but I didn't.
He tried to tell you when to host it, but he couldn't get a word in edgeways.
Aye. You Blumac flying in with 2 feet, stop talking to people you're no different than Russell Martin. Does that look like curtains to you? It's receding, I'll grant you, but it's not curtains. Although it will be curtains the next time somebody does compare me to Russell Martin, I can assure you. But nonetheless, Kenny, I wanted to bring up a comment I did see come in. There's a few super chats to get through as well, so don't worry, folks, I haven't forgot about them. We will get through them, and we are greatly appreciating them. But where is it? Bring back. Well, that's fine. We'll have Callum on the next time. I'll just go to my bed the next time, right? Shona made this point, which I thought was a good point. 5 wins in 17 games, Kenny, and he keeps going on about the mentality, and he doesn't take any accountability. I think that's absolutely hitting the nail on the head for me. There's no accountability ever been taken for Russell Martin. In fact, yesterday, his comments, quite frankly, I felt were disgraceful. The attack that he launched on the fans for being angry at him, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. And I hate saying it, but it's straight out of Patrick Stewart's playbook. if all else fails, just attack the fans. It's not if that he's putting mincemeat out in the park and doesn't have a clue what he's doing. And the fans are going to boo him. Even despite the fact we won that game, the fans stuck to their guns because Neres are getting lured into a false sense of security, like a last-minute winner against Livy, some sort of new dawn. I get his points about Wayne's and all the rest of it being, next to their father and being told to make obscene gestures. I can understand that to a degree because it's maybe not appropriate for Wayne's to be doing. However, we're in the west of Scotland. That is what Wayne's do here. Like it or lump it. So to Shonah's point, and on what he said yesterday, attacking the fans as well, when does Russell Martin actually accept that the problem is him and not us?
No, I definitely agree, by the way. And just before you done, Brian, straight after Shona, it was 2 points that I'd clocked, and I thought, exactly perfect, 31% win ratio. I mean, come on, there's managers lost their job for a lot better percentages than that. And Shona's right. I mean, 5 wins, come on. It's a pantomime, it's a shit show, it's all done. I think, you see this mentality carry on, right? Try using another word. Try just saying, I don't know what it is, I'm turning purple, but the concentration levels at the back is staggering. Even in training, we're struggling, but we're trying to say that instead of this mentality and anxiety and all these newfound words that are pissing everybody off anyway, and then coming out and still making mistakes tactically and with formations and also with substitutions, then Russell, that's your fault, mate. That's not the players. You're right, Connor. That you can say all that who you want, you can dance around it with your wee pigtails on, run your merry pole, but it ain't going to happen, mate. You're doing the formation, you're putting on the substitutions, you're playing players out of position, you're trying to do these tactical movements and throw-ins and corners and all that these players just can't do. Instead of saying, right, I'll revert back to a 4-4-2, right, or a 4-2-3-1 or whatever. But he doesn't. You're right, Connor, he doesn't. And then he comes out, and I think it was the MK Dons guy. I'm sure Ian was talking to him. No, Hamish, the other one, Mr. Thompson. I'm sure one of them says, give it a bit of time, he'll blame the fans. And that's now quite a few times he's blamed the fans. And I think Mr. Stewart should have realised what club he was coming to before he started opening his mouth about fans, because that boy probably hasn't even got a pal on his mobile phone that he can text, because he is so dour and fucking introvert and doesn't want to talk about anybody else but himself. So him and his wee curtain-haired pal should take a wee tram up to Edinburgh and maybe get a job at Hibs or something. They might put up that crap up there, but they're not. We can't put up with this now. And I think if the 6-month thing is true, that's the thing. Because there's no way, guys, there's no way there's another reason why he's at this football club. Gio lost his job for better performances. Clement lost his job for better performances. Buell lost his job for better performances and win ratios. And this guy's still hanging on with the worst ever start the league. Rangers was a history, or 40 odd years or whatever. And also in a league position where we're sitting bottom of the league nearly. So he's got all that and he still keeps his job. So there's obviously a lot more to this, guys. There's a lot more to it.
Agreed, absolutely agreed. Ian's screen it's all gone mental here. Ian's screen's gone.
Put that comment.
Kerry's a bit, dear me. There's the mentality of this show. And Brian has a fair point. Beale did get chased for having a 71% ratio. Albeit, to be fair, Brian, by the time Beale's time came to an end, that Aberdeen game, the players had given up on him by that point, and it was evident, epitomised by Scott Wright coming on the park and deliberately getting himself sent off and deciding, nah, I don't want anything to do with this. But hey-ho. I know, I mean, Trev, who would have thought, right, especially in those of you who have watched the Rangers Rabble podcast for a long time, from when I first came on, who would have thought that we'd be on a show where I was the only one that had the stable internet connection?
My internet is fine. It's my camera that's playing up.
Anyway, we do have a number of super chats to get ourselves through, and I am relaxed, Blue Tie. Believe me, I am very relaxed. Well, I'm as relaxed as you can be talking about Rangers right now, I suppose, but nonetheless, let's get through some of these super chats because there is a few. Let's start with this one. I'm not I'll bring it up, I think. Ian, in fact, Ian, can you have a look at the £2 super chat at the top, and I'll bring up Aldo's £10 one, because I want to take under advisement whether I can bring up because of the name. Aldo has given us a £10 super chat. Thank you very much indeed, Aldo. Another one, obviously, tonight. Yes, you see my point, Ian. That's my quandary. Kenny, Russell Martin does not give one S about results and the fans' feelings. He's just waiting on megabucks paying him off. And in all honesty, laughing at us. I mean, this is the sad state of affairs, isn't it, in modern football? It's not scaring off Russell Martin's nose at all. He really doesn't care. Why would he? He's not. And again, I don't think this by saying you don't have to have a Rangers man in, but you know what I mean when I say it. He's not a Rangers man. He knows if he gets sacked for Rangers, he gets a payoff, and a club in the Championship undoubtedly hires him because he obviously has something that convinces people that he can coach football teams.
He's a salesman. He's good at talking in an interview, I think. That's the only thing I can think. But it's getting blatantly obvious, Aldo, that he's possibly hanging on just in giving his lip service because he knows he's waiting his payout, or he goes after 6 months. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it just, nothing would surprise me with Rangers now, with the board. And it's money men that run us now, so if it's going to cost them half the money to pay him off, then that's what they're going to do, I think. I think that's what... It does seem like that. It's the same old lip service bollocks that he says every time. So I don't think that's true. I don't want to think it's true, Connor. I don't want to think it's true. I would like to think an elite manager would want to just get their job done the right way, but nah, definitely not.
No. And do you know what? I'm a great believer. See if somebody shows you what they are, believe them. You know, tends to be true. Because the fact is, we should have took heed for the Southampton fans who warned us. This is what Russell Martin does. Swansea fans said it as well. I will say, to be fair to him, he did get Southampton promoted for the Championship. And when he took over Southampton, they were at the bottom half of that table. And he got them in the playoffs and he got them into the Premiership. You have to give him some credit for doing that. You know, as much as Southampton fans then hated what he did in the following season, clearly they were behind him at that point because he was getting results. But we've seen last year what happens when it falls apart. Ian is having all sorts of issues with his camera. We may just have Ian's voice.
You do, I'm still here.
Yes, he is still there. So, absolutely not related to Ian's camera at all. This is the £2 super chat that, under advisement from Ian, I will bring up. That person there, the wrong Patrick Stewart, Lucy Pinder should leave that as a loser. Well, it's a matter for her. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat, however. Fraser Boyd has put in a £20 super chat. Again, thanks very much, Fraser. Much appreciated. All the support as always. Passama, Pascard, and Slothwell. Ian, if you are still with us,
voice-wise, I'm still here. Face-wise, I'm not. That might be a godsend, to be fair.
Yes, well, absolutely. Reading between the lines of Fraser's comment there, because I want to give it some time, given the fact it's a £20 super chat, but he's only put 3 words. But clearly, Slothwell will tell you that Rothwell obviously is someone who is coming for criticism because he's lack of pace, and I think he's got a lack of finishing ability as well. Pascard and Passama. Asgard's one I really want to focus on of the 3. What was going on with Asgard? Because for me, he's an empty jersey right now. And I don't like saying it, but I just feel as though he is. I don't see what he's offering us.
At times tonight, I forgot Asgard was playing, and then every time he did get the ball, he just hit the deck. As soon as a player came near him, he just hit the deck. I'll try and win a free kick. I've had to switch onto the laptop camera because the main one has, I think, burnt out. It doesn't want to do this, so it's decided it's like, no, I'm not doing it. But yeah, I mean, Asgard was, and it's not the first game. It's not like you say it's a one-off. It's been every game he's played since he's come in. He's been pretty much an empty jersey. There's nobody there. We're playing with 10 at every single game at the minute because Asgard's playing. Like Kenny said earlier on, he said that that's not what we saw coming up, and that was not the reviews we got of it. I've got gone around. I do my job for a living. I travel around this area that I live in, and there are Luton Town fans that are telling me that this kid is decent. He's got talent. He can do this. He can do that. And we see, all right, he scored a few tap-ins for Norway, but you still have to be in those positions to get it. So he's being played correctly for his national team and scoring goals. Again, you don't get into that Norway team unless you've got something about you, because, all right, they're not like qualifying for tournaments here, there, and everywhere, but they've got some bloody good players in that team. So you don't get into that team without having something about you. So again, is this Asgard being a poor player, or is it a coaching thing that he cannot play the way that this coaching setup wants him to play? I don't think you're going to see some of the best things out of these players until he's gone. I will keep going back to that. Until he's gone, I don't think you're going to see the best out of these players. But he does have to do more. The players have to take responsibility for their own actions. I mean, Stuart was saying that on a pod. I can't remember which one, whether it was the Monday one or the boardroom or whatever. When did the players start taking responsibility? And sometimes they've just got to look at it and go, right, I'm not doing well in this. I'm just going to play the way I want to play, and I'll make a difference. And play the position that you're told to play in, but just do something that you know you can do to make a difference in the game. So, I mean, I'm not going to write him off because I just think there's so many players. They can't all be bad players. I think it's slightly unfair to call him Passama, because I think out of all the players on that pitch tonight, he was the one guy that looked dangerous all night long. And Slothwell, well, you know, we all know that he's not as quick as we would like him to be. But again, did he play the whole game? No, he didn't. He only came on for the closing stages. So again, I don't think you can really slag Rothwell off at all for tonight. But Asgard, out of the three, just not showing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, I'm going to try and blitz through some of these other ones because they're flying in. Some we can already spoke about. So Fraser again, another fiver for him, absolutely superb. Thanks so much, Fraser. Just saying, if Curtis was in Mikey's boots, he'd be raved about the same way down south. Don't disagree with that, Kenny. That's the unfortunate side effect to being up here in our academies. You don't get the same level of it because Mikey Moore came up here and we were told, oh, this kid's unbelievable. He's going to come up there, he's going to tear it up, and then he'll come back down and walk right into that Spurs team. No, really, how it seems to be working out right now. Albeit maybe with a better manager, he'd be doing better.
Yep, that's the snobbery again, Connor, of the English to the Scottish. Unfortunately, as it regards to football and the leagues, because our players get plucked for this league and going to become superstars. Name them all. You know what I mean? It's playing in England now, from Championship to League One to Premiership, Italy, Germany. However, all the younger players are better than our younger players, apparently, when it comes to under 20s and under 19s and 22s and all that, which is total bollocks. Because quite a lot of them come up here and they find it increasingly difficult. Whereas when we school our kids in a hard knock school and you go down to when there's a bit more time, now the Premier League's rapid fast, but you still get time in the ball to do what you need to do. Scotland, you don't get that, and I think that's that snobbery thing again. So I think he's right. If Curtis went down there the way he plays, it wouldn't be long. I think it would be a season in the Championship to get him up to speed. I think he'd get his Premier League move within about a season or two. I honestly believe that. I think the guy's good enough. He's shown he's good enough, and it's annoying me that nobody's playing him. And how many times have we played that record?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Mike has come in with a £5 super chat. Someone please tell him what Asgard brings to the team or what he does worse than a man down. It's beyond me. Well, Ian has already answered that.
Can I bounce into that? I think Ian's nailed it. Honestly, I think Ian's nailed it. I think a lot of these players, you're never going to see the potential of these players until he leaves, until we see what an actual manager and coach can do. I'm just wanted to throw that in there. I think
100%. I totally agree. Geez, they're flying in. And time is a ticking clock. Fraser, again, another 10 for Fraser. I mean, Fraser just absolutely superb, sensational effort for Fraser tonight. Tonight there was £20 million worth of strikers on that part. Even if it was 100 million of strikers involved, management and order is key, no matter the talent. I mean, I think we've touched on that, Ian. most of this show, in fact, we've not even really spoke about the second half, although the second half was a better performance, I think, all round than the first half. I think Gassama's goal was a very, very good finish, but too little, too late, as we did sort of reference earlier. But again, that is scary because by Scottish standards, £20 million worth of striker in the park. Command's better than that.
And out of all of that, I think we had one decent chance. Well, one chance. I won't even say it was decent from Danilo on the outside of the box. He hits the ball and it goes straight into the keeper's arms. Other than that, I don't really think Chimity or Miovski got a look in the second half at all. There's plenty of chances being created, and you can't knock the team for trying to get back into it. So that was the one thing you'll say is that you can look at that second half and just say at least they did actually look like they cared in the second half and gave it a bit. And the Sturm Graz keeper kept a minute from Cornelius and Suter. And I think if those chances fall to Miovski, the Suter one especially, I think you find that goes in. But yeah, 20 million quid worth of striking talent. But it's Europe. 20 million pounds worth of striking talent generally is one player, not three. So that may well be the difference in it. But they couldn't get that ball in the back of the net regardless. And I can on the probably the in one hand how many chances our actual strikers had when they were on the pitch for the second half. It wasn't the strikers that the chances were falling to.
100%. Charles giving me a 199 chat saying, give us a £2 chat. Well, asking you shall receive, Charles. I gave you it, so there you go. And finally, the last super chat, Stephen Robertson with 20 Aussie dollars, which he has very kindly told me converts to a tenner in Great British pounds sterling, which is a horrific conversion rate, quite frankly. I would want better. Coming this way, obviously, I mean, it's not bad if you get out there. If 10 quid gets you $20. But nonetheless, thanks very much, Stephen. Your support is always greatly appreciated. Ian Dillon is telling me, well, to be positive, who do we want in instead of this covering every game? Well, we react to the game that we've just watched on this show. So unfortunately, when you lose, it's going to be negative. However, and this segues me nicely to my plugin, you can tune in to hear conversations such as who we want in, because tomorrow you'll have a couple of shows on. You'll have your Friday night show tomorrow. Is there a Friday night show tomorrow? There is. Ian is on tomorrow night, which he'll plug for you. There'll be an afternoon rabble tomorrow as well, so make sure you tune in for that, and you'll hear all the takes up from the day after the night before, as it were. And I'm sure going forward we'll have those conversations, Ian. And then, of course, on Saturday, you'll have your usual Saturday lineup. I think this Saturday we've got the Random Rabble, and I think we've got the Boardroom as well, because on Sunday, of course, Rangers, unfortunately, are back in action. And you'll have all your game day coverage, your build-up, your watch-along, your match reaction. You'll have all of that. Hopefully, it'll all be a lot more positive, because hopefully we'll win a game of football. That would be lovely. Fraser, why do we look better in the second half? I think if you throw enough mud at the wall, something's going to stick in it. Is the short and sweet answer. Unfortunately, I don't have more time, Fraser, or I would have threw it to the guys. That'll do us. My thanks to Kenny and to Ian for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure. Thanks to everybody in the comments, even the ones giving me it tight for not letting Kenny in, and especially the one that compared me to Russell Martin. Thanks very much indeed for that. But genuinely, we always appreciate the support, and it's always great on nights like this. It's like a therapy session amongst us all. So I think at least it helps, and we've had a few laughs along the way, if nothing else. We will be back, obviously, as I said, tomorrow. So until then, enjoy whatever is left of your Thursday night, and we will see you very, very soon.